The massive alien ship appeared above Earth without warning. It was bigger than anything humans had ever built. The ship looked like a black mountain floating in space, covered with weapons that could destroy entire cities. Admiral Kang Dae-ho stood on the bridge of Seoul's Pride, humanity's largest warship. He watched the alien vessel through the main screen. His officers were quiet. They knew this moment would change everything for humanity. The alien ship sent a message. It wanted to meet with Earth's leaders. Admiral Kang agreed to the meeting, but he was careful. He brought his best people with him. Captain Lee Soo-jin was humanity's smartest military officer. She studied every battle in human history. She understood how wars were won and lost. Dr. Park Ji-woo was Earth's top expert on alien life. He had spent years studying creatures from other worlds. Both of them came to the meeting. The alien messenger was huge. It stood 3 meters tall and looked like a giant lizard walking on 2 legs. Its skin was dark green with sharp scales. Its eyes were yellow and cold. The creature wore armor that gleamed like metal. "I am Commander Thex of the Galactic Dominion Empire," the alien said. Its voice was deep and scary. "I speak for Emperor Vaxilon, ruler of 847 star systems." Admiral Kang listened without showing fear. "I am Admiral Kang Dae-ho of the Human Colonial Defense Fleet. What do you want?" Commander Thex smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Your species will surrender to the Empire. You have 72 hours to give up all your weapons. Your leaders will bow before the Emperor. Your people will serve the Empire forever." "And if we refuse?" Captain Lee asked. "Then every human in the galaxy will die," Thex replied. "We will burn your worlds. We will destroy your ships. We will erase your species from existence." Dr. Park watched the alien carefully. He was recording everything. The alien's body language, its breathing, the way it moved. Something was strange. The creature expected them to be afraid. It expected them to beg for mercy. But the humans in the room were not afraid. They were angry. "Has any species ever refused your offer?" Admiral Kang asked. "No," Thex said proudly. "All species are smart enough to surrender. The Empire has never been defeated in 3,000 years. "What happens to species that surrender?" Dr. Park asked. "They serve the Empire. They work for us. They give us their resources. The strong ones become soldiers in our armies. The weak ones become workers on our worlds." Captain Lee studied the alien's weapons and armor. She noticed how the creature moved. It was used to being the strongest thing in any room. It had never faced real danger. "You may leave," Admiral Kang said. "We will give you our answer in 72 hours. Commander Thex looked surprised. Most species begged for more time. They cried and pleaded. These humans just dismissed him like he was not important. After the alien left, the 3 humans sat in silence for a moment. "What do you think?" Admiral Kang asked. Dr. Park spoke first. "I studied the Empire's history during the meeting. Every species they conquered was peaceful. Plant-eaters or creatures that ran from danger. They have never fought a species like us." "What do you mean?" Captain Lee asked. "Humans are predators," Dr. Park explained. "We evolved by hunting other animals. We are the only meat-eating species the Empire has ever met. They do not understand what that means." Captain Lee nodded, slowly. "Their tactics are designed to scare prey animals. But we are not prey." Admiral Kang looked at the data Dr. Park had collected. "How many ships do they have in this system?" 50,000, Captain Lee replied. "But they are spread out across 12 systems. Only 5,000 ships are near Earth right now. And how many ships do we have? 8,000 ships in the Sol system. 20,000 more in our colonies." Dr. Park frowned. "But their ships are more advanced than ours." "Are they?" Captain Lee asked. She pulled up the scans of the alien vessel. "Look at their weapon placement, their ship design. Everything is built to intimidate. They want their enemies to surrender before fighting starts." Admiral Kang studied the data. "You think they are not as strong as they appear?" "I think they have never fought a real war," Captain Lee said. "They have only conquered frightened civilians." The Admiral made his decision. He opened a communication channel to Earth's government. President Kim Min-ho appeared on the screen. "What is their offer?" the President asked. "Surrender or die," Admiral Kang replied. "What do you recommend?" "We fight." President Kim was quiet for a long moment. "Are you sure?" "Mr. President, Doctor," Park said, "this empire has ruled the galaxy by making others afraid. But they have never faced a species that fights back. We might be their first real challenge. If we fight and lose, they will kill everyone," the President said. "If we surrender, we become slaves forever," Captain Lee replied. "Our children will never be free. Our culture will disappear. We will exist only to serve them." Admiral Kang leaned forward. "Sir, we have one advantage they do not expect. We are not afraid of them." President Kim made his choice. "Prepare for war." The next day, President Kim addressed all of humanity. His speech was broadcast to every human colony, every ship, every space station. "My fellow humans," he began, "we have been given a choice. Surrender and become slaves or fight for our freedom. The Galactic Dominion Empire believes we will kneel before them like every other species has done." The President paused, letting his words sink in. "They are wrong. We are humanity. We do not kneel. We do not surrender. We have fought for survival since our species began. We have conquered disease, poverty, and death itself. We have spread across the stars through courage and determination." His voice grew stronger. "Today, an empire that has never known defeat has met a species that has never known surrender. They want us to be afraid. But we choose to make them afraid instead." The message reached every corner of human space. On Earth, in the colonies, aboard ships traveling between stars, humans heard their president's words. "We declare war on the Galactic Dominion Empire, not for conquest, not for glory, but for the right to remain free. The galaxy will learn what happens when predators are forced to defend their young." Commander Thex received humanity's answer exactly 72 hours after his ultimatum. It was short and simple. No. For the first time in 3,000 years, the Galactic Dominion Empire faced a species that chose war over slavery. The Empire had no idea what they had awakened. The Empire's first pacification fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system 3 days later. 5,000 massive warships spread across space like a metal cloud. Each ship was the size of a city. Their weapons could turn planets into dust. Fleet Admiral Vextar commanded the invasion from his flagship. He was a veteran of 200 conquests. He had never lost a battle. The reptilian commander expected to find human ships waiting to surrender. Instead, he found empty space. "Where are they?" he asked his officers. "Scan every planet, check every moon." His sensors found nothing. No human ships, no defense platforms, no weapons. Earth and its colonies seemed defenseless. "Perhaps they evacuated," suggested his second-in-command. "Many species run when they see our fleet." Admiral Vextar was suspicious. In 3,000 years, the Empire had learned to expect certain behaviors. Weak species surrendered immediately. Brave species tried to fight and died quickly. But no species simply disappeared. "Move the fleet toward Earth," he ordered. "Stay in formation. Watch for tricks." The Empire ships moved slowly through the solar system. They passed Mars without incident. They approached the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Still no sign of human resistance. Fleet Commander Yoon Sumi watched from inside a hollowed-out asteroid. Her command ship was hidden deep within the space rock. Around her, thousands of human vessels waited in silence. They had been preparing for this moment for months. The humans had studied every battle the Empire ever fought. The aliens always used the same tactics. They arrived with overwhelming force. They demanded surrender. When enemies tried to fight in open space, the Empire's superior numbers and technology won easily. But humans decided not to fight fair. "All ships, this is Commander Yoon," she whispered into her communicator. "The trap is set. Wait for my signal." Captain Nam Woo-jin commanded a destroyer hidden inside Jupiter's Great Red Spot. The massive storm hid his ship from sensors. The EA. Heat and radiation would kill most alien species, but humans had built their ship to survive. Engineering Chief Cho Mi-ran led a strike force concealed in the sun's corona. Her ships used the star's energy to mask their signatures. No sane species would hide in a star, so the Empire never looked there. The Empire fleet moved deeper into the system. They were confident and careless. They had never faced an ambush before. "Now," Commander Yoon said quietly. Space erupted with violence. Human ships burst from asteroid caves, gas giant storms, and solar flares. They appeared from places no civilized species would dare to go. The Empire's sensors, designed to detect fleeing enemies, never expected attacks from such deadly environments. Captain Nam's destroyer roared out of Jupiter's storm. His weapons were already charged and ready. He targeted the nearest Empire ship and fired everything at once. The alien vessel's shields flickered and died. Its hull cracked like an egg. Engineering Chief Cho led her squadron from the sun itself. Her ships glowed white-hot from their hiding place. The Empire ships could not look directly at them without damaging their sensors. The humans struck like ghosts made of fire. Commander Yoon's asteroid ships attacked from all directions. The Empire had never fought an enemy that used space itself as a weapon. Humans turned deadly environments into advantages. The battle was chaos. Empire ships tried to form defensive lines, but humans attacked from everywhere at once. Every human captain had studied their targets for months. They knew exactly where to hit each ship type. Dr. Park Ji-woo had been right. The Empire had never fought real predators before. Their ships were built to impress and intimidate. But human ships were built to kill. Admiral Vextar tried to understand what was happening. "How are they surviving in those environments?" he demanded. "How are their ships not melting in the sun?" His science officer was terrified. "Sir, they must have been planning this for years. They built their ships specifically to hide where we cannot follow." The Empire's advantage in numbers meant nothing when they could not see their enemies coming. Human ships appeared, struck hard, and vanished back into deadly hiding places. Captain Nam's destroyer took heavy damage from 3 Empire ships. His weapons were destroyed. His engines were failing. But instead of retreating, he did something that shocked every alien in the system. He aimed his ship directly at the Empire flagship and pushed his engines to maximum power. "Sir," his communications officer said, "we can escape. The engines still work." "No," Captain Nam replied calmly. "We can do more damage this way." The Empire had never seen such a tactic. In all their conquests, defeated enemies always tried to save themselves. They surrendered when their ships were damaged. They never chose to die fighting. Captain Nam's destroyer smashed into Admiral Vextar's flagship like a missile. The explosion lit up half the solar system. Both ships died in a ball of fire. The Empire fleet panicked. Their commander was dead. Their enemies fought like madmen. Nothing in their training had prepared them for this. Engineering Chief Cho pressed the attack. Her ships emerged from the sun again and again. Each time they struck, another Empire vessel died. The aliens could not adapt to human tactics. Commander Yoon coordinated the assault from her asteroid base. She watched the Empire fleet break apart in confusion. Their formations collapsed. Their ships fled in different directions. "All human ships," she announced. "The enemy is retreating. Let them go. We have made our point." The surviving Empire ships escaped the Sol system. Less than half of their fleet remained. They had never suffered such losses before. The news spread across the galaxy faster than light. The Galactic Dominion, Empire, conquerors of 800 worlds, had been defeated by a single human system. Species that had served the Empire for centuries heard the impossible news. Humans had made the Empire bleed. On distant worlds, enslaved creatures whispered in secret. If humans could hurt the Empire, maybe the Empire was not invincible after all. Commander Yoon broadcast a message to every alien ship fleeing the system. Her words were simple but terrifying to the Empire. "Tell your Emperor something for us," she said. "We are not like the others. We do not surrender. We do not run. We hunt. And now, we are hunting you." The first pacification fleet returned to Empire space, carrying news that would change the galaxy forever. For the first time in 3,000 years, the Empire had met an enemy they could not defeat easily. The war between humanity and the Empire had begun, and the Empire was no longer certain they would win. Emperor Vaxilon was furious. He sat on his crystal throne in the heart of the Empire, listening to reports of defeat. No species had ever destroyed an entire Empire fleet before. The news made him sick with rage. Mobilize the Third War Fleet, he commanded his generals. 200,000 ships. I want these humans crushed completely. The Empire's greatest military leaders gathered around him. They were veterans of 1,000 conquests. They had destroyed civilizations and enslaved entire species. Your Majesty, said General Korth, perhaps we should study these humans more carefully. They fight differently than other species. They are primitives with lucky tactics, the Emperor snarled. Send the full fleet. Turn their worlds to ash. Make an example of them for the galaxy to see. The Third War Fleet was the Empire's greatest weapon. It had never been defeated. The fleet could destroy star systems and remake entire regions of space. 200,000 ships began moving toward human territory. But General O. Tae-young had been expecting this response. He stood in the war room aboard the human battleship New Busan, studying star maps with his officers. He had spent his whole life preparing for this moment. They will send everything they have, he told his staff. The Empire has never faced real resistance. They think overwhelming force can solve every problem. Commander Lim Ha-young led humanity's newest weapon, the Ghost Squadron. Her ships were small and fast, designed to be invisible to enemy sensors. She had trained her pilots for years in secret. Sir, she said to General O, our scouts report the Empire fleet moving in standard formation. They are not trying to hide their approach. Good, the general replied. They still think this is a normal conquest. They expect us to gather our ships and fight them in open battle. Intelligence officer Song Ji-hoon had spent months studying captured Empire data. He knew more about alien psychology than any human alive. His research would be humanity's secret weapon. General, he said, I have identified 17 different species in the Empire fleet. Each species has specific fears and weaknesses. We can use this against them. Dr. Ryu Hye-jin was humanity's expert on alien minds. She understood how different species thought and felt. Her job was to break enemy morale without firing a shot. The Empire rules through fear, she explained. But fear works both ways. If we can make them afraid of us, their empire will begin to crack. General O looked at his team. These were humanity's best minds, working together for one purpose. They would not fight the Empire's war. They would fight their own war. We will not meet them in battle, he announced. We will hunt them. The Third War Fleet entered the outer edge of human territory, expecting to find defensive positions. Instead, they found nothing. Human colonies seemed abandoned. Space stations were empty. It was as if humanity had simply vanished. The Empire commanders were confused. Where was the human fleet? Where were their defenses? Spread out and search, ordered Fleet Admiral Korax. Find their ships, find their bases. We will destroy everything. The Empire fleet split into smaller groups to cover more space. This was exactly what General O wanted them to do. Commander Lim's Ghost Squadron struck first. Her ships appeared behind a supply convoy carrying fuel and weapons. The attack lasted 30 seconds. When it was over, 20 Empire ships were floating dead in space. The convoy never even sent a distress signal. More attacks followed. Empire patrol ships vanished without a trace. Supply lines were cut. Communication relays went silent. The humans struck like shadows, appearing just long enough to kill before disappearing again. Intelligence Officer Song broadcast messages throughout the Empire fleet. His words were designed to plant doubt and fear in alien minds. "Your leaders sent you to die," he told them. "They know you cannot defeat us. They hope you will weaken us enough for their next fleet to finish the job. You are not soldiers. You are bait." The different alien species in the fleet began to distrust each other. Some species were natural enemies forced to work together by the Empire. Song's messages reminded them of old hatreds. Dr. Ryu began her psychological warfare campaign. She studied each species carefully, then created messages that would terrify them specifically. To the insect-like Zephyrians, she sent images of humans using fire as a weapon. Fire was their greatest fear. To the plant-based Verdani, she showed recordings of human farmers harvesting crops. The images made them sick with horror. To the aquatic depths, she played sounds of humans eating fish. Their entire culture was based on protecting sea life. Each message was designed to make the aliens see humans as monsters. The Empire fleet began to fall apart. Ships broke formation without orders. Some species refused to work with others. Panic spread through the ranks like a disease. General O watched from his command center as the enemy fleet scattered across human space. His plan was working perfectly. "Phase 2, he ordered. Human hunter-killer groups emerged from hidden bases throughout the sector. They targeted isolated Empire ships that had separated from the main fleet. The attacks were precise and brutal. Captain Jeon Min-sik led one such group. His 3 ships cornered an Empire squadron near a gas giant. The aliens tried to surrender, but humans had learned something important from the Empire's own tactics. They showed no mercy. Commander Lim struck at the Empire's main communication hub. Her ghost squadron appeared inside the enemy formation like magic. They destroyed the command ships and vanished before reinforcements could respond. Without communication, the Empire fleet became blind and deaf. Groups of ships lost contact with each other. Some fled toward Empire space. Others hid in asteroid fields, too frightened to move. Dr. Ryu broadcast her final message to the entire galaxy. Her words reached every Empire world, every enslaved species, every corner of known space. "Look how easily your masters panic," she said. "Look how quickly they run when faced with real opposition. They ruled you through fear, but they are the ones who are truly afraid. If one species can make them flee, what could all of you do together?" The message spread like wildfire. On conquered worlds throughout the Empire, enslaved species began to whisper dangerous thoughts. If the mighty Empire could be defeated, perhaps freedom was possible. The Third War fleet retreated from human space in complete disorder. Of 200,000 ships, fewer than half made it home. The rest were destroyed, captured, or simply disappeared into the darkness between stars. Emperor Vaxilon received the news in stunned silence. His greatest weapon had been broken by an enemy he still did not understand. Across the galaxy, The impossible had happened again. Humanity had not just survived the Empire's full assault. They had turned predators into prey. The hunt had begun. The Empire was desperate. Emperor Vaxilon stood in his war room staring at maps showing human attacks across the galaxy. Red marks covered hundreds of star systems. Each mark represented a defeat, a lost ship, a failed mission. Use the forbidden weapons, he ordered his generals. I do not care about the cost. These humans must die. The Empire had weapons they promised never to use again. Planet crackers that could split worlds in half. Reality bombs that erased matter from existence. Entropy fields that aged everything they touched to dust. Your Majesty, General Korth said carefully, these weapons have been banned for 2,000 years. The other species will learn what happens when someone defies the Empire, the Emperor roared. Deploy everything. Show the galaxy that rebellion leads only to death. But Admiral Shin Dong-wook had been watching the Empire's movements. He commanded humanity's deep space intelligence network from a hidden base in the Andromeda Cloud. His job was to stay ahead of the enemy. They are bringing out their worst weapons, he reported to Earth. Planet killers, reality destroyers, things that should not exist. President Kim Min-ho received the message with calm determination. Can we stop them? We do not need to stop them, Admiral Shin replied. We need to make sure they use them correctly. Captain Bang So-young led the assault on HFY, the Empire's regional capital. Her fleet of 30 ships faced a planet defended by 10,000 vessels and orbital weapons that could destroy moons. But Captain Bang was not planning to fight fairly. Her ships approached HFY openly, broadcasting surrender messages. The Empire defenders laughed at the small human force. 30 ships against an entire world seemed like suicide. We surrender, Captain Bang announced. Please do not destroy us. We bring a message from Earth. The Empire Fleet Commander, Admiral Thexvar, was suspicious but curious. What message? Humanity offers to join the Empire, Captain Bang lied smoothly. We realize we cannot win. We want to serve the Emperor. This was exactly what the Empire expected. Every species surrendered eventually. Admiral Thexvar allowed the human ships to approach the planet. Captain Bang's ships moved closer to HFY's surface. The Empire defenders watched carefully but did not fire. They thought the humans were beaten. When the human ships reached the planet's atmosphere, Captain Bang revealed her true plan. All ships, activate the pulse generators, she ordered. Her 30 ships were not warships. They were giant electromagnetic pulse devices disguised as surrender vessels. When they activated together, every electronic system on HFY went dead. The orbital defenses shut down. The communication networks failed. The Empire fleet lost power and drifted helplessly in space. But Captain Bang did not destroy the planet. Instead, she broadcast a message that reached every corner of the galaxy. Citizens of the Empire, she said, watch how your masters defend you. High above HFY, an Empire dreadnought activated a planet cracker weapon. The ship's captain thought he was fighting human invaders. He did not realize the humans had already left. The weapon fired down at the planet. The surface cracked like broken glass. Cities fell into massive chasms. Millions of Empire citizens died in seconds. The Empire had destroyed one of their own. Worlds trying to kill 30 human ships. Dr. Quan J. Min, humanity's chief historian, broadcast the recording across every communication network in the galaxy. The message was simple, but devastating. "This is how your empire protects you," he said. "They will burn your worlds to deny them to others. They see you as property, not people. They rule you like cattle and slaughter you like animals." The psychological impact was enormous. The Empire had always claimed to protect their member species. Now everyone could see the truth. The Empire cared nothing for the lives of their subjects. On 1,000 worlds, enslaved species watched the recording of HFY's destruction. They saw their own future in those flames. If the Empire would destroy their own capital to stop humans, what would they do to rebellious slave worlds? The first rebellion started on Kepler 7, a mining world populated by the Christine species. They had served the Empire for 800 years, digging rare minerals from their planet's core. The Christine leader, Shardsinger Veltar, stood before his people and played the recording of HFY. The Empire destroyed their own world rather than let humans capture it, he said. "What do you think they will do to us when we are no longer useful?" The Christines stopped mining. They sealed their tunnels and declared independence from the Empire. Within days, 9 more worlds followed, then 50, then 200. The Empire tried to respond with force, but their fleets were scattered and damaged from fighting humans. Every time they moved ships to crush one rebellion, 3 more worlds declared independence. Admiral Shin coordinated humanity's response from his hidden base. He did not send human ships to help the rebellions. Instead, he sent something more valuable: information. Human intelligence officers had spent years studying the Empire. They knew the location of every weapon depot, every supply base, every communication hub. They shared this knowledge with the rebel worlds. The avian species of Talon Prime used human intelligence to capture an Empire armory. Suddenly, they had modern weapons to fight their oppressors. The aquatic tide swimmers used human star charts to find secret Empire shipyards. They destroyed the facilities before new warships could be built. The insectoid hive mind used human communication codes to intercept Empire messages. They knew where the enemy would strike before the attack began. Captain Bang continued her campaign of demonstrating Empire weakness. Her ships appeared at heavily defended worlds, broadcasted challenges, then disappeared when the Empire tried to respond with planet-killing weapons. Each time, the Empire destroyed their own territory trying to kill humans who were no longer there. Dr. Quan narrated each incident for the galaxy to witness. The Empire of Vorthak burned their tax collection center rather than let humans see their corruption, he reported after one incident. The Empire of Selenar poisoned their own water supplies rather than let humans drink from their wells, he said after another. Your masters will destroy everything before they let anyone else have it. They do not care about you. They care only about control. Emperor Vaxilon watched his empire crumble from within. Rebellion spread faster than he could stop it. His own Weapons were being used against him. The fear that had held his empire together for 3,000 years was turning into hatred. "How many worlds have we lost?" he asked his remaining generals. 312 have declared independence," General Korth replied. "More join the rebellion every day." "And the humans? We have not seen their main fleet in months. They are letting us destroy ourselves." The Emperor finally understood. Humans were not trying to conquer his empire. They were proving that his empire could be conquered. Every human victory showed the galaxy that the mighty empire could bleed. The greatest predators in the galaxy had learned a truth that would reshape the stars. Sometimes the most dangerous hunt is the one where you teach the prey to hunt each other. Emperor Vaxilon stood alone in his throne room, surrounded by the ghosts of his crumbling empire. Half the galaxy was in rebellion. His fleets were scattered and broken. The mighty galactic dominion that had ruled for 3,000 years was dying. But he had one final weapon, one last chance to restore his power and crush the humans who had started this nightmare. The Galaxy Killer. Hidden in the depths of Nexus Prime, the Empire's capital world, lay a weapon so terrible that even the Empire's own scientists feared it. The device could sterilize entire sectors of space, turning stars cold and planets into lifeless rocks. "Activate the Galaxy Killer," the Emperor commanded his remaining loyal officers. "Target every system with human presence. End this rebellion forever." Chief Engineer Bayek Yuri received the intelligence report while hiding aboard a captured Empire transport ship. She had spent 6 months infiltrating the Empire's capital, posing as a maintenance worker. Her mission was humanity's most dangerous. "Gamble, the weapon is powering up," she reported to Earth through a secret transmitter. "We have maybe 12 hours before it fires." Commander-in-Chief Jiang Min-su stood in the war room aboard humanity's flagship, the Inchen's Dream. Around him, holographic displays showed the final positions of human forces throughout the galaxy. Everything they had worked for came down to this moment. "Are our people in position?" he asked his staff. "Yes, sir," replied his aide. "Every major Empire facility has been infiltrated. Our agents are waiting for your signal." The plan was insane. For months, human spies had been placing themselves throughout the Empire's infrastructure. They posed as workers, soldiers, technicians, and slaves. The Empire never suspected that their own systems were filled with human agents. Engineer Bayek had done more than just report on the Galaxy Killer. She had been modifying it. The weapon's targeting system was incredibly complex. It required precise coordinates to hit distant star systems. Bayek had spent weeks carefully changing those coordinates, one number at a time. When the Galaxy Killer fired, it would not target human worlds. It would target the Empire's own core systems. President Kim Min-ho prepared to address the galaxy one final time. His words would be broadcast to every world, every ship, every living being in known space. This message would either end the war or end humanity. "My fellow beings," he began, "you have watched the Empire's true nature revealed. You have seen them destroy their own worlds rather than lose control. You have witnessed their willingness to sacrifice everything for power." The Galaxy Killer began its firing sequence on Nexus Prime. Massive energy collectors gathered power from the capital world's star. The weapon charged slowly, building enough energy to sterilize 1,000 star systems. "Today," President Kim continued, "the Empire will show you their final truth. Watch what your masters do when they face defeat." Engineer Bayek worked frantically in the weapons control room. Empire technicians bustled around her, preparing for the ultimate strike against humanity. None of them noticed the small human woman making last-minute adjustments to their doomsday device. "Firing sequence initiated," announced the Empire's chief scientist. "Target, Sol system and all human colonies. Time to firing. 1 hour." Beck smiled grimly. The weapon was indeed about to fire, but not at the targets the Empire expected. Across the galaxy, human agents received their final orders. In weapons factories, they sabotaged production lines. In communication centers, they prepared to broadcast humanity's message to every screen in the Empire. In military bases, they stood ready to open the doors for rebel forces. The most important agent was Dr. Han Su-jin, a human xenobiologist who had spent 2 years posing as an Empire researcher. She worked in the archives beneath Nexus Prime, where the Empire kept their most secret records. "All systems ready," she reported. "When the weapon fires, every classified Empire document will be transmitted across the galaxy. Their crimes, their lies, their secret plans, everything will be revealed." The Galaxy Killer reached full power. Energy crackled around the massive weapon as it prepared to fire. Emperor Vaxilon watched from his palace, expecting to see human worlds burn across the stars. "Fire," he commanded, the weapon discharged with the power of a dying star. Beams of pure destruction lanced out from Nexus Prime, racing toward their targets at faster-than-light speed. But the beams did not strike human worlds. Instead, they hit Corvax Prime, the Empire's military headquarters. The planet cracked and burned, taking with it the Empire's greatest army. They struck Vexilor, the Empire's economic center. Trillions of credits and the galaxy's financial records vanished in nuclear fire. They destroyed Nexus Beta, where the Empire's ruling families lived in luxury built on the suffering of enslaved worlds. One by one, the Empire's most important worlds died in the fire of their own ultimate weapon. Emperor Vaxilon watched in horror as his empire destroyed itself. "What is happening?" he screamed at his technicians. "The targeting system has been compromised," one of them replied. "Someone changed the coordinates." Engineer Bayek stepped forward, dropping her disguise. "That someone was me." The Emperor stared at the small human woman who had doomed his empire. "Impossible. Our security is perfect." "Your security was designed to keep out enemies," Beck replied calmly. "But we were never your enemies. We were your workers, your soldiers, your slaves. We were invisible because you never saw us as threats." President Kim's broadcast reached every surviving world in the galaxy as the Empire's core systems burned. "The Empire has destroyed itself," he announced. "Their own weapon, fired by their own hand, has ended their reign. But we did not do this for conquest. We did this to prove that tyrants always fall." Dr. Han activated her final program. Every secret the Empire had kept for 3,000 years flooded the galactic communication networks. Species learned how. Their homeworlds had been destroyed. They discovered which of their leaders had betrayed them. They saw the true extent of Empire crimes. The remaining Empire fleets, cut off from command and seeing their leaders' true nature revealed, began to surrender. Not to humans, but to the rebel worlds they had oppressed. Commander-in-Chief Zhang received reports from across the galaxy as the Empire's final collapse began. "The Christine fleet has taken control of the Rigel sector," his aide reported. "The avian forces have liberated their homeworld. The tide swimmers are hunting down the remaining slave ships." "And the humans?" Zhang asked. "Our forces are withdrawing to the Sol system as planned. We are not occupying any Empire territory. This was humanity's final surprise. They had not fought this war to build their own empire. They had fought to end the age of empires forever." Admiral Kang Dae-ho, now commanding the last human fleet in Empire space, received the surrender of the final Imperial forces above Nexus Prime. The planet below was in chaos as the surviving population turned against their rulers. "We surrender," transmitted the Empire Admiral. "What are your terms?" "We have no terms," Admiral Kang replied. "We are not your conquerors. Work out your future with the species you enslaved. Make peace with those you wronged. Learn to live as equals instead of masters." Years later, the former Empire territories had become the Galactic Federation of Free Worlds. Hundreds of species worked together as partners instead of slaves and masters. Humanity returned to their small corner of the galaxy, but their legend grew with each passing year. They were the species that looked at an invincible empire and simply said no. They were the predators who taught their prey to hunt. In military academies across 1,000 worlds, young officers studied the human doctrine. Not how to conquer, but how to resist conquest. Not how to build empires, but how to tear them down. The galaxy had learned its most important lesson. Sometimes the greatest victory is not defeating your enemies, but teaching them to defeat themselves. The Empire was terrified no more. The Empire was extinct, destroyed not by superior force, but by the revolutionary idea that no one has to kneel.